The one and only Monster Jam.
Monster Jam.
Rolls back into U.S. Bank Stadium February 7th and 8th. And we got your tickets in. Check out the contest page at KFAN.com to see how you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to the February 7th show. That's KFAN.com keyword contest answer
You're
today.
You're making that up. We're not giving away tickets, are we really?
Yeah, wow. KFAN.com keyword contest.
Sweet. Hey, before we start 534, I just remembered this. I don't know why, but I saw something over the weekend, or maybe it was just in the last couple of days. And I don't even know who was reporting it, but it was like J.J. McCarthy has unfollowed Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson has unfollowed J.J. McCarthy.
Wow, I don't know how much of that is real.
I know. Well, that's what I was wondering. I just want to know if it was real. That's why I was asking, because I didn't think it was real, but it obviously the theory would be that after Jefferson said, yeah, I think we'd have been a better team, we'd had better results, or however he said it, if they would have had old Sam Darnold rather than McCarthy, and that the kid took offense to it and they didn't follow him. I didn't think there was anything to it, but I did see it out there. I thought it was interesting. You know me, I like to stir the pot. Right now I'm stirring up my chicken salsa verde with riced cauliflower. It's so good. But let's do 534 now.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for
I thought it could be a programming predicament. I just can't do that again. It's so hard to decide.
It's an Olympic version of What's Your Rank. By the way, the United States women's hockey team victorious today over the Czech Republic 5-1. So congrats to the ladies.
I was going to do. That was expected, right? Right.
I mean, the Czechs are. It's USA and Canada, and there's nobody else close.
Right, yeah.
The Czechs would be like the next closest.
Okay.
But that would just mean it's a 5-1 score as opposed to like 10-0.
Gotcha.
Common, what are the top 5 sporting events you are looking forward to watching in this year's Winter Olympics?
Women's figure skating. Lindsey Vonn, just to watch, to see, I don't know how, with a torn ACL, she's going to be able to ski. She's going to try. They don't do the pommel horse in the winter, do they?
No.
I'd like to see pommel horse while skiing downhill. Lindsey Vonn. I guess also men's downhill. I guess men's and women's downhill, but Vaughn, was who I want to watch, but I like downhill skiing. I do. I mean, I don't participate, but I'd like to watch that. So does that have to count as 1 or can it be 2? Because I would have women's figure skating, and then I have men's downhill, women's downhill. I wish they did the barrel jump. We've talked about that. They used to do it on Wide World of Sports back. I'm a boomer. Back in the 60s on Wide World of Sports, they would have a guy skate around a rink and they'd have barrels, like, rain barrels, all lined up in a row, and you try to jump over as many as you could. It was the coolest thing ever. And then if you hit the barrel would just break into a million pieces. I don't know after that. I don't, the snowboarding really doesn't do it. I think after that, I'm a curling, Yeah. But the only curling I really care about is the Team Peterson. And I guess the doubles, because we have one of, anything that involves the United States in curling, I'm all right with watching. I've become sort of kind of a curling fan. Again, it's not going to be at the top of my list for my favorite spectator sports. But those would be the 4. And after that, I don't know. I used to like bobsled, and what's the other one? They have bobsled.
Luge.
Luge. But to me,
after you watch 1 or 2, you've seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's, the winner beats the second place team by, 1/100th of a millionth of a second. So how do I know? Why did they go a little faster than the other? I don't know. I've told you this before. We've talked, we do it in the Summer Olympics where I talk about I'd like to see some of those old events we used to do in our backyard where you would do like, 3-legged race, wheelbarrow race. I would like to see them actually do, the sleds we used to slide on? Where you lay down and you got, they got the one board and you move it left or right to kind of guide yourself. I'd like to watch that because to me, that's You want the players, the participants, the sledders to wear a helmet, but I'd rather see something like that. Maybe snowball fights. That'd be kind of fun too, right? But there's not much.
Where they have to make their own snow forts ahead of time for strategy purposes.
Exactly. I know you're hockey. I'm
definitely hockey's the highest on my list.
Yeah. But then again, it's like you say. But is it the same in the men's? It's really Canada in the United States, and it's
there's other teams that are going to be competitive there. Finland, Sweden. It's too bad Russia isn't able to be there because they would also be a very tough match. And who knows if. I know Alexander Ovechkin doesn't appear to age, but I don't know if he'll be able to even play 4 years from now. So could have had one last chance at seeing Ovi. So it's disappointing the Russians can't be there. Then Kaprizov would have been there. But those four, and then there's others that are competent that can spring up upsets like a Slovakia, Czech Republic.
You mean like a Miracle on Ice possibility?
Well, Miracle on Ice is a whole nother level of
No, but I'm just saying one of those teams could pull their version of it is what I meant to say. They're not expected. Like Slovakia, if they were to win the gold medal, that would be their version of Miracle on Ice.
Sure. You were
sorry, I threw a wet blanket.
Yeah, threw a wet blanket on.
Again, you're just too caught up in because it was the United States, it was 1980. There no other upset could be as big. I get it.
It was amateurs against the greatest hockey team in the world.
Right. Well, I'm sorry. They weren't the greatest hockey team in the world. They got beat. They were the second best hockey team in the world.
Any given Sunday. You were kind of going over specific storylines. Like obviously the Vaughn storyline's great. Tara and Tabitha Peterson. But in just terms of actual events, I kind of like watching the short track speed skating.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of fun.
It's a lot better than just normal speed skating, where they're all out there at the same time and they're flying around and
I guess
falling into each other.
I can watch that.
Yeah, that's fun to watch.
I'll just admit, I don't think it surprises anybody. I'm not watching a lot of Winter Olympics.
Well, way to throw a wet blanket on that.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't interest.
Question number 2. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
USA Today ranked the 60 greatest moments in big game history. At number 5, they have Bills kicker Scott Norwood missing wide right versus the Giants.
What? How do they label this? The what?
60 greatest moments. Well, they said Super Bowl, but I'm changing it to big game.
Yeah. Well, that's not great for Scott Norwood. That's a terrible way to label it. Maybe just most
memorable moments.
Most memorable is, and it's even not it's a bad memory for him, but that'd be better. But anyways, okay, Norwood missing.
Number 4, they have Joe Montana's touchdown pass to John Taylor with 34 seconds to go versus the Bengals. Number 3, they have David Tyree's helmet catch versus the Patriots. Number 2, they have Ben Roethlisberger's touchdown pass to a toe-tapping Santonio Holmes with 35 seconds left in a win over the Cardinals. And at number 1, they have Malcolm Butler's interception of Russell Wilson at the goal line. Common, do you agree with the top 5 moments in big game history?
Yeah, I guess. The only one I remembered is the number 1. What was 2 again? Roethlisberger, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
3 was the helmet catch by David Tyree.
I do remember that.
4 is Montana to John Taylor.
I don't even remember that.
Number 5, Scott Norwood.
I do remember that.
Right.
I would add in there, I was going to, until I started talking, what the hell was I going to say for a memorable moment? Oh, to me, when the Tennessee Titan guy reached out, to me, that was a really good football game, back and forth the whole time. And he was a half a yard from scoring a touchdown. I don't know how that plays not there. And then, of course, why don't they have the marching band playing there? Do you remember when the marching band came out? How is that not in that?
How could you forget that?
I don't know. It just seems
that marching band refused to yield too.
That's exactly right. And they refused to yield, and the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, they took the last train to the coast. What they did.
Shoot a quick one.
Question number 3. It's time now for the lowdown in Dinkytown.
The Gophers men's basketball team upset number 10 Michigan State 76-73 last night at the Barn. Their first victory over a top 10 opponent since taking down number 7 Michigan in 2021. Jalen Crocker Johnson scored a game high 22 points. Minnesota shot 10 for 21. 10 for 21 from 3. As all 5 Gopher starters played at least 35 of 40 game minutes. Other than the court storming, what else sticks out to you from the last night's Gophers win over Izzo?
It's baby steps. They almost lost the game. They got outscored like 27-6 in the last however many minutes it was. Was it the whole?
Well, you're going to be fatigued when you play the same five guys over and over.
No, I get it. Yeah. But I'm just saying that it stands out that, to play that well and have that victory over the top 10 team almost slip out of your hands. So that was, but they did. And, it's obviously there's some talent there. And this is where Tennessee, I'm a casual, as baby brother Peter said, when it comes to, most sports, I'm a casual. I don't really know all the X's and O's. I wonder if this coach Medved's able to squeeze a little bit more out of guys with his system. He plays that, constant balls moving all the time, almost like that Princeton thing we talk about. And so if he squeezes more out of this, because that's 3 wins over ranked teams. Now, again, 2 of them were just, right on that top 20, but Michigan State 19-3 going into the game. So just that they might be making some progress. We'll see. Now it's we'll finish this year. They would have to go on an amazing run in order to qualify for the tournament.
They got to do in the Big Ten tournament, yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to either win that or
win out.
Yeah, win out, but that's probably not going to happen.
No.
But then you just see what happens. Okay, what about the transfer portal? What about NIL? And what about recruiting and how that goes? But yeah, so. Better to win than lose, I guess. But I can't get really that excited yet. But it's encouraging. Let's say that.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
We'll take a break. As we go to break, Tennessee's got a keyword for us. We'll tap dance for one more segment. Then it will be the final spread swing for the 2025-2026 season coming up at 1:30. It's going to be that keyword.
The fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks to their national cash contest. Just enter the keyword happy at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is happy. Enter now at KFAN.com. KFAN welcomes some great shows to Grand Casino Arena in the next year, including Eric Church in 2 days on February 7th. Tickets are on sale now. Get the complete details on all our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He is tend to be spread swing right around the corner. I was going to try to IHOP. Seattle's a 4.5-point favorite. When I was going to IHOP, I still think the biggest point spread ever was Big Game 3. New York Jets, I believe, were 18-point underdogs to the Baltimore Colts. Unless Green Bay in either Big Game 1 or 2 was a bigger favorite against Kansas City in the first big game or Oakland in the second. But I think the 18 points is the largest. I don't know what the smallest would be. I guess like a point and a half, right? Maybe there was a Super Bowl that they just said pick them dead even. I don't know. I didn't have time to Google that. I was basically trying to figure out how to say our new player's name. Ayo Dosunmu is what I think how it's pronounced. So the Wolves made that trade. They also traded for another player, and again, his name slips my mind. I think that's more just a depth piece, right? Just a throw-in. Yeah, I was talking to Chad Abbott, and he said he looked up the guy. He's averages like 2 points a game and 1 board a game. So, my guess is they're not expecting a lot from him. He's like a guy you put for a few minutes a game, and I guess if he hits a couple of shots, you keep him in. I don't know, but we talked about this, and we'll get into it in greater depth when Rosen joins us after we do spread swing. I talked about this in the first segment, Tennessee, when we talked about the trade. I just feel like is is as much fun as it would be would have been to and by the way, it looks like Antetokounmpo is not going to be traded. The latest I saw was, I guess somebody could still call him here at the 11th hour and blow him away, with a whopper, say we'll give you that Sean Bradley and that Stoico guy, and the Bucks would bite, but it kind of sounds from what I'm reading online is that the Bucks are just going to wait till the end of the season. And I still think I saw a quote from Antetokounmpo is just a short while ago, like yesterday, or maybe it was sometime yesterday, where he said, "Well, I don't have to leave here. I want to play somewhere where we can win. I want to try to get another title, because at 31 you're starting to get longer in the tooth and you're trying to win." But whether he goes anywhere or not, but it sounds like he's off. He's off the market for now. And as I said in the first segment, Tenby, as much fun as it is to be involved in a blockbuster, like when we traded for Rudy Gobert, or like when we traded Big Meow and he came Bodega Cat, big names being swapped back and forth. It's exciting. It's a new look. For what the asking price was for, and I had no interest in the James Harden guy. A prolific scorer, but he doesn't seem to want to ever play defense. And he's one of those guys, would you call him a black hole? He's a guy that he shoots. He's a high volume shooter. He gets the ball he wants to. We got one of those guys. Ant's our high volume shooter. And we have other guys that can shoot as well. So now if you add him to the mix, it's like, I just don't.
The only other high ender I would have considered, though he's a knucklehead, is Ja Morant.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, Harden I want nothing to do with.
But there's something about here's the it's the Dosun Sunmu was a second round pick by his hometown Bulls in the 2021 draft. He's making about $7.5 million in the final season of his current contract. He's 26 years old, averaging a career high 15 points per game, and shooting a career best 45.1 from 3-point range. His role with the Bulls has fluctuated over 5 seasons with 164 starts in 324 games, but he will fill an obvious need for the Timberwolves for more offense off the bench. And so is this going to sound preposterous? I'd rather have this kid than Antetokounmpo, because of what you had to have given up.
Yeah, that's not preposterous.
Because I don't want. I mean, we know Ant's untouchable, right? That's not going to be. So of the rest of the guys on the team, who do you think is the closest to untouchable? I would say Jaden McDaniels.
Sure,
because
his youth.
He's youth. He can play with his back to the basket. What are the cliches going to use? He's long.
He's got an NBA body.
He's got an NBA. I forgot about.
He's got length.
He's got length. He's got an NBA body. Can play wingspan, and you know what else? He can play both ends of the floor. He's great in transition. And he's great at the 3-cone drill. He's a really good 3-cone drill guy when he was at the combines. So when you have a player like that, if you let's say you have to get rid. Now I think Antetokounmpo can play defense and he can score. So okay, but man, McDaniels is that guy. It seems as though he can cover bigger guys, smaller guys. He's very adept at it. It's not like just, well, sometimes he plays defense, sometimes he doesn't. So, and then we've seen what Julius Randle has brought to the club. And I've brought it up on a number of occasions. It was, if you'll remember, it was after he came back from the injury last year in March. All of a sudden, the Wolves went on a tear. They had like the NBA's best record from the moment he retook the floor after injury from that point on to the end of the season. I think the Wolves had either the best record or second best record. And he was instrumental in that. And then, we read that story that the Fish Rep Westside did, about a month ago, talked about where Randall kind of he's really found his place after this many years in the league, and he likes it here, and his whole pregame routine to get him in a spot where he can be. And then the other guy, Naz Reid, was 6th man of the year. So if let's say you had to give up all those guys, and I know that wouldn't have been a one-team trade, but you had to have been several. Well, then really, I mean, you had better work then, because if it doesn't, now what do? You already had a thin bench to begin with.
Yeah.
So
now you're deeper.
Now you're deeper, especially if this kid can play. Now it sounds like this is his best season to date. When you're
Scoring wise,
right, shooting a career best 45.1 from 3-point range. He's averaging a career high 15 points. That's what the people that I trust, the people in the basketball community tell me what the Wolves have missed more than anything, other than playing defense consistently, would be scoring off the bench. And, a bona fide point guard, because Conley was that guy, but Mike was at 38 years old, just not, that old gray mare just ain't what she used to be. Same with the...
well, actually, the replacement that I think he is for is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who they lost during the offseason. Okay. And they lost Nan, were never replaced it, right? They just had one less guy.
Right.
And obviously Dillingham couldn't fulfill that, and Mike Conley's just too old to fulfill that. So I think he's a Na replacement.
He's a Na replacement. And so, so I think it's probably it's a good move, because what I was asking Rosen, and maybe I asked you too, had the Wolves not made a trade at all, do you still think they could, and not just get to the Western Conference Finals, but get out of the conference finals and get to the finals? And Rosen said he thought they could, and I guess he's probably a little more confident of that than I was, because they with pretty much the same roster the last 2 years. Well, especially last year and then this year, slight differences. I get it, but your core guys, they weren't able to do it. So why would I think they could do it now? But now when you add a player with, again, we needed someone off the bench. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they just play defense like they're capable of. If Edwards can, Ant said, I just got to figure out how to want to play defense every game, start to finish. If he can, it'll be fun to watch in postseason, which is when I will get my first glimpse of them. We'll break. We'll come back. When we do, it will be time for Spread Swing, final edition of the segment for the 2025-2026 season. That's next here on The Fan.
Never miss your chance to know what the latest sports news is in town, chances to win tickets, and knowing what is going on with all of your favorite KFAN shows. Follow KFAN 1003 on all of our social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and X now. Stay connected and follow the sports leader, KFAN.
The so-called sports leader. That would be us. I'm Common. He's Tenneby, excited and delighted to be joined in studio by the legendary Mark Rosen, and via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline, my firstborn, Deuce. Hope I'm not distracting you here today.
Well, I'll be in Lincoln tomorrow, so I'll get one working remote day with solitude and peace, which means I'll actually be productive. So looking forward to that, but next Friday it'll be a doozy.
He's going to see his gal out in Lincoln.
Oh, nice.
They're doing Valentine's Day this weekend, because next weekend Deuce and I will be up at Grand Casino Hinckley. Mm-hmm. We'll both be climbing inside the confines of the ring post for ring announcing. There's another Rapides boxing card up there for Grand Friday Night Fights. Black's Man of Ojibwe in Grand Casino Hinckley. Deuce is making the drive. He's got money. I say you should fly, but he likes to save. He's one of those guys. He's got a piggyback.
Caught him well.
What?
No, maybe
I'd
not you.
fly. I'd fly it. I mean,
well, if I could get a flight from MSP to Lincoln direct, I'd have no problem. Mm-hmm. But I can only go to Omaha, and then I'd have to either get a ride from Jenna or get an Uber, and that's 4 hours of driving for her. So that's just kind of a pain. I'll drive for now. Maybe if Lincoln Airport would open up that flight, that airport's pretty much obsolete.
Well, I guess you're right too, because you got to get to the airport, 90 minutes ahead of time, and then sit and wait, and then it's a 45 or hour flight. Then you got, so by the time you add all the time together, it's probably almost close to the same as driving. But I don't know.
When I drive, I can leave when I want, make as many stops as I like. I'm much more in control of my own destiny.
Well, better you than me. Speaking of being in control of our own density, let's go ahead and take a look at Spread Swing.
Spread Swing.
Yeah, going into the conference championships last week, Deuce was in the lead with 18 points. Common second with 10 points. Rosen in third with 2.5 points. And I was in last with -6.5.
Minus? How can you be minus?
Oh, this is it.
What is it called? Is it called a scoregami in the National Football League?
Yeah.
When it's like a score that's never been done before.
Yeah.
I think we had a spread swing scoregami last week.
Yeah.
Because history was made between the four of us. We all got 0 points last week.
Wow. Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
So what happened is Common and Rosen both had New England -4.5 and Seattle -2.5.
Okay.
Well, New England won, but they only won by 3, so you lost 1.5 points. Seattle won by 4, so you gained 1.5 points. So both of you guys lost 1.5 points, gained 1.5 points. And then Deuce and I both had the opposite. We had Denver +4.5 and the LA Rams +2.5. So we both gained 1.5 points and lost 1.5 points. So all four of us got 0 points last week. So no movement was
My
made.
goodness, that is a first.
So in other words, spread swing, the method it's taken, it's following Dad's format for the Grum over the past 30 years. No changes, no moving the needle, nothing different.
Wow.
That's
Good enough.
powerful.
The truth hurts.
It does.
The truth hurts.
Yeah, it does. It's that it
So
cuts
for,
like a knife.
so for today, since we only have one game remaining, I thought we'd add something in here to try to give us ourselves a little bit more to get some points. So the line today for the big game is Seattle -4.5 over New England, but we also have an over-under of 45.5. So let's do an over-under
I
pick
like it.
and a Seattle New England pick. So
And look, all these numbers it's 4.5 the spread, and it's 45.5.
Right.
yeah,
So it's a scoregami
it's scoregami. Yeah.
on the over under and the point spread.
So obviously, if we do the point spread and, if it's over or under 10, then you would gain or lose 10 points based
Okay.
off the over. Yeah. So we have a chance
I
to
like it.
make a little bit of movement here.
So we have changed something here, Deuce, in the past 20 years, 30 years. We've just changed the way we do spread
There's
swing.
that.
Well, Deuce is going to say it's
Deck
rigged.
chair off the Titanic.
Yeah, Deuce is going to say it's rigged because it's the only chance for any of us to catch him now.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Yeah. So we'll go in order from first to worst. So we'll go Deuce, Common, Rosen, then me. Should we start? Should we start with over under first?
Sure.
Sure.
Let's all go through the over under
Okay.
first. So Deuce, you get the over under spread swing.
Swing.
Ba, 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 ba.
Now, I feel like in the hype up before the Super Bowl, I've been hearing so much about the Seattle defense and how ferocious they are. And in that, I think is being lost the Patriots. They've got a remarkable defense. They ranked first in a lot of categories during the regular season, yards per game. I think we're going to see a defensive masterclass from both sides. I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as New England's last Super Bowl. I hope it's not, because that was like the 10-3 or 13-3 win over the Rams. That was literally one of the worst football games I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just atrocious. I don't think it's going to be that low scoring, but I think it's going to be pretty tough for either quarterback to march their respective squad down the field. I'll take under 45.5, and I'm pretty confident in that. Maybe I'll stop at Diamond Joe on my way to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Sounds
Very
good.
good.
Spread
So that's
swing.
like a 23-20 kind of game. That is low scoring. My turn, right?
Common.
I defense wins championships. I love defense. I also like to see some offense. I think we'll see some. In order to try to overtake Deuce, this is part of the reason I'm going to take the over. But I also think the National Football League, they think everything out. I mean, everything, right? They leave no sand trap unraked, no ball mark unrepaired, and no divot unreplaced in their relentless pursuit of trying to grow the game and make everybody happy and get eyes on their product. And so they know most people are not old school like me. They like to see offense. I also think once you get to the big game, I think historically, maybe I'm wrong, maybe somebody can pull some stats for me, but you don't see as many flags either. They let them play. And so I think because of that, they're going to let them play, And I think you're going to see some offense that you wouldn't normally see because I don't think they're going to call a lot of holding penalties. Now, that may mean, well, they won't call any pass interference either, which means then you get a lot of, you can get guys that are mugging guys, and then they're not getting the calls, so maybe the offense won't be as much. But I still think it's going. That's a great over and under because, like I say, you're talking about a 24-21 final would give you the under. I think it might be a bit more than this. I'll take the over.
Spread swing.
Yeah, I'm going to go back with Deuce here because I think New England's defense is underrated, and rightfully that Seattle's probably getting a little bit more of the props for their defense. We've seen them in New England's game against Denver. In the snow as the game went on, it was a little hard to tell, but Vrabel's really developed a really consistent pass rush. He's got a very disciplined team. They don't commit a lot of penalties. I just think that I honestly think we're going to have a game in the 30s. So, like a 2016, 2017 type game. So I will also take New England I will take the under 45.5. I think teams will be a little nervous, feeling out process, et cetera, et cetera. The big plays, big explosive plays will be limited. So I think it'll be a low scoring game.
Spread swing.
I guess Common and I are going to join forces in this one because I think the most logical thing to look at this and go, two good defenses, therefore it's going to be a low-scoring game. Vegas knows what they're doing. It's, to Common's point, they're not going to be calling as many holding penalties. These quarterbacks are going to have more time sitting in the pocket. Also, the best weather Drake May's played in a month.
Right.
He had to play in the snowstorm in Denver, and they played two other games in New England against really, really good defenses. I think the weather conditions are going to be a little bit more favorable for Drake May to air it out. And let's face it, when you have 2 weeks, guys like Josh McDaniels, they're coming up with some plays that they can figure out how to dissect the Seattle defense. They're coming up with red zone packages, maybe throw a trick play here, a trick play there. I think we're going to see some scoring in this game. I'm thinking it's going to be an overwhelming performance. I'm going to go over 45.5. And also, I think Sam Darnold's going to be cooking.
Before we move on, listeners suggested you could also do bonus points by predicting the score. And whoever gets closest to the score could get 10 points.
That sounds really complicated.
Well, we just pick a score. You say like Seattle 41-13. Who's ever the closest gets an extra 10 points. That's an easier way to catch Deuce.
Yeah, I like your thinking.
Let's think about it as we finish.
Spread swing.
Everything that I've been seeing online, just the hype train, everyone is thinking Seattle is going to take this one. Not necessarily destroy New England, but they'll have a relatively easy victory. People have been criticizing New England for, having an easy path to the Super Bowl or whatnot. But as Dad has said many times on the airwaves, as well as, all you guys, Tenna and Rosie, it's not New England's fault that their opponents, maybe during the regular season, weren't the greatest. It's not their fault that Bo Nix got banged up and they had to get through Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game. And I take a look at that New England sideline, and I understand it's not the Tom Brady dynasty. I understand Mike Vrabel wasn't the quarterback leading that team. But when you have a head coach like that who is so familiar with being in these huge games, these just really, really big moments where you got to come up and make big plays, I think that guys rally around a coach like that who's got the experience and he knows exactly what it takes to get an NFL team ready for the big game. I think New England is going to surprise some people. I'll take them plus 4.5 in Santa Clara. Mike Vrabel's going to get the team ready, and the Patriots are going to win the big game. What do you think of that?
Now, what do you think?
Spread swing.
Again, Deuce makes some very salient, if that's the right word, points. I tend to agree with much of what he said there. However, I'm trying to generally I don't care if I win, but I want postseason spread swing because I've never won a postseason spread swing. So to catch them, I think I have to, and I do think Seattle, they're 4.5 points favorites. Last 10 to be says the odds makers know something. I think with Darnold, is it possible that he could revert to the Sam Darnold of old? Yeah, it sure could. But he led the league in turnovers in the regular season. In his 2 postseason games, he hasn't turned the ball over once. He seems to play with. I got to think he's got a lot of confidence right now. Now that could also. I brought this up the other day and just talking about the game. Where that could also work against you too if you get if you get overconfident and get cocky and go, I'm just going to wing it all over the ballpark. Well, then all of a sudden you start to force it into places you maybe shouldn't. Suddenly you're back. You've turned into a turnover machine again. But I think he's going to have I think he's at a place where this is his moment, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion. And I think Seattle's going to win the game, and I think it's going to be due in large part to Sam Darnold, because old Sam Darnold has an arm.
E-I-E-I-O.
Spread swing.
Yeah, there's so many analytics that go into the big game, and we're here on Thursday, and you can slice and dice them any way you want. And I think, the vast majority of the so-called experts are picking Seattle to win the big game on Sunday, and rightfully so. They're well-balanced. They probably faced tougher competition, not only in the course of the regular season, but the postseason. Darnold, we know, is having one of those special years. But the one thing I think Seattle has an advantage of, their special teams unit. I mean, Rashid Shaheed, is that his name, right? I mean, he's dynamite. I mean, he's as good as it gets as a return man, and he could be one of those game breakers for Seattle and any given kickoff, punt, whatever it might be. And they have a big advantage in that area, and that, often games like this come down to. But it doesn't seem as if it's Drake May's time yet. I mean, he's just, kind of kicking the tires on his, what should be a terrific career. It already is. And conventional wisdom says take Seattle, give the 4.5. Take Seattle, give the 4.5.
Ooh, you're taking New England to win the game.
Well, I'm taking them with the 4.5. I'm not saying they're going to win the game.
Right.
But I think it's going to be closer. I think Drake May, this just in, is a special kid. He can extend the play. He's got some big plays in him, and they got a nice balanced attack. And I just think Vrabel does a wonderful job and getting his team ready, understanding that even though Brady's not picking against his old team, much to the chagrin of a lot of New England fans, I'm going to go with the underdog in terms of taking the points. I don't think it. I hope it's a close game. So I'll go New England plus the 4.5. Uh-oh.
The line in Vegas just moved to Seattle plus 10 and with Deuce's picks of New England.
Wow.
People just flocking to Iowa and Wisconsin as we speak.
Correct.
Spread swing.
Well, Rosie officially cannot win playoff spread swing because he's doing the exact same picks as Deuce.
Yeah, that's all right.
I, too, cannot win playoff spread swing because I'm going the exact same as the common man, Dan Cole. I'm taking Seattle minus 4.5. And I'm just going to keep going on the topic everyone else is going on, the quarterback play. I still think quarterback, especially in a big game, matters. And I just think there's something to being battle tested like Sam Darnold is now. Like all the roller coaster of a career he's had and all the different stops. And now he's finally sure of himself. He just absolutely performed at the highest level in the biggest game of his life last week. And the other part I think that's sneaky about this is Sam Darnold was at the big game just 2 years ago when he was in San Francisco. Now, he didn't play, but he experienced it. He experienced everything that leads up into it, how to prepare for it. He is not going to get thrown off by all the bright lights in this game, whereas I still think Drake May is young, is not as battle-tested, and frankly, Drake May hasn't looked that good in the playoffs. So I think Darnold's the difference. I also think he has a weapon in Jackson Smith and Jigba that Drake May does not have. So I just think Seattle's more explosive offensively. So I'm taking Seattle minus 4.5.
I'm taking Seattle to beat New England 27-20. That's what I got for a final score. Got a final score, Mark?
What did I say? Because I said I took the under, so I think I said 23-17. I think
New England? Or are you going to
No, excuse me. No. 23-20.
23-20, Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay. Deuce, what do you got for
I got
score?
let me take the Patriots. I'll have them 24-17. I think it's going to be a close game. And my alternate, another prediction that I've got, sneak peek into the preposterous statement tournament and Alec Lewis. But ever since Diggs has switched over from wearing number 14 to number 8, it just looks like he's got a different gear in terms of his speed. May is going to hit Diggs for a 50-plus yard touchdown during the big game. Bet on it. Or, well, no, maybe don't bet on it.
Kennedy, what do you
Just
got?
wait.
Give me Seattle 34-20.
34-20 Seattle in a rout. Okay, very good. Should we give 10 extra bonus points?
I don't know how we determine who's closest, but yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Okay, we'll talk it out.
Very good.
Another great year of spread swing, guys. Appreciate
it's
it.
Fun, guys.
Deuce, are you indeed?
Yeah,
have you
phenomenal.
found? I know your gal was feeling a little bit punkish. She had a little bit of she was not feeling well. Are you still going to Lincoln, or are you sticking around?
Now she's pretty much over it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go down there and spend the weekend, and I'll try and make my way back up and be in town right as the big game is starting, so we can plop down on the couch and watch one last football game together.
Thanks. I love it. All right, so please drive careful. I know you're leaving tonight. Be careful. And
what are you thinking going to Lincoln, by the way?
Yeah, what are you thinking going to Lincoln?
I wasn't thinking that Nebraska ball would be back this year. Take a look at us.
How about
now. What do
that?
you think of that?
Yeah, that's a hell of a club.
But
Go, Freddie.
the team that everybody's talking about this weekend, I'll be there. The Lincoln Stars squaring out with the Youngstown Phantoms, the best team in the USA South. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, all right, very good. All right, drive careful and stay in touch with me, okay?
Yep, will do. Thanks for having me as
All right,
always.
take
guys.
care.
Appreciate it.
Take care, Deuce.
There's Deuce, and there's a little spread swing forward. We'll see how it goes. We'll have results next week. We'll take a break, come back, hour to go. We'll talk with Mark Rosen next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.